Your next plant was Ligularia.
Give it to me. You have.
All right, Ligularia. The one I like is, again, this is mostly a shade plant. It's native to, let's say Asia, China, Western China, and around there, and has either a daisy-like flower or a spike of tiny little daisy flowers. What you're showing there is a picture of one which is called Ligularia Britt Marie Crawford. I have no idea who that was, but obviously somebody well known in the trade. Also, there's epimediums on the right, which look very nice. But it's a shade.
I think this is your old garden.
Oh.
So of course it's a nice epimedium. What else would you
I don't recall that, but my recall is slow. And no, that's all right. Yeah, so you see what nice contrast here. Now, there's not, other than the little insert, there are no flowers here. But see how the contrast in foliage in this plant works so well in this picture. There's round purple leaves on the left, round green leaves, also a Ligularia. And then you have these little arrow-shaped leaves on the right of the epimedium.
A hosta.
Oh, it may be a hosta. Yeah, it's a hosta. And then you have some long linear leaves and so forth. And the background actually is a hedge. But the whole point is that foliage is the most overlooked part of the garden. And whether or not Ligularia blooms, which it does and blooms very nicely, it's worth having it just for the foliage contrast.
And it blooms late, which is nice. It
does. It's late August, September into October mostly.
I did hear where Britt Marie Crawford came from. It was a seedling, a chance seedling in her garden, and after her death, her husband gave the plant to somebody, and they named it after her. Irish.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
I heard another story, which I don't know whether it's true, but the guy who introduced the nurseryman who introduced it into the market thought at first he would name it for some famous movie actress, and he called to see if she would be willing to have a plant named for her. Instead of reaching her, got her agent, and her agent said she would very much like to have a plant named for her and would only ask $10,000 fee for doing so.
Whoa.
At which point the guy decided to name it for the real finder and didn't get charged a dime for doing this.
Yeah, that's the way to go. You know what I've noticed with Ligularia is if the soil is rich and really moist, they seed all over the place. So you would get seedlings coming up. I mean, I think that's a Ligularia seedling back by that woody, is that pagoda dogwood or something growing in the back? Is that a Ligularia back there too?
Yep.
Yeah,
that is. But I think that might be actually Othella back there.
I like Desdemona just for the name. Like
Desdemona.
So you gotta have a Desdemona in the garden.
Well, I'm going to interject and say the first time I planted it in the trial gardens, I planted it underneath a downspout where the water comes off the house. And it loved that spot because it got water to such degree that was really soaking water that when the summertime happened here, it was able to take the heat and the drought quite well.
The leaves get so huge too when it's got water.
Right. Somebody asked if it is invasive. No.
Except for
No.
seed.
Microcephala.
Yeah.
Liatus microcephala.
Microcephala. Okay, all right.
Microcephala.
It's commonly called dwarf blazing star, and it's a dwarf Appalachian native.
And it is available from Stonehouse Nursery.
Stonehouse. Okay.
They're in Michigan there, right?
Yeah. Up,
Jay and
I stopped to see them just the last fall, and it's like north of Lansing going toward West Branch.
Right.
All right. Nice, very nice people, by the way. They're wholesale. I don't know. I'm sure they'll sell to you, but I'm not sure they're available at all retail.
They come to a lot of the conferences. You'll find Stonehouse Gardens.
Well, Patty was a board member of the PPA. I think she's finished with her term now, but she was a board member for a number of years.
You know,
All
there's,
right.
there's a perennial plant association question that I wanted to ask you about, or somebody about. There was a study way back toward the beginning. Some of the perennial plant association's money went to study the point of hardiness of plants by putting them into a cold temperature and watching for ice crystals to form and saying, okay, so heuchera can make it down to -2. And were you part of that by any chance? Were you part of finding out?
No, I was not, and I don't even remember this study. But
Okay.
was anything interesting taken away from it, or what?
Well, I wondered whether anybody had done more there. I think they came out with results of 10 plants, and I kept them and thought, we need to know about all these different ones for how cold the ground can get. I saw someplace that they took the Ligularias and they broke them up into Ligularia and Farfugium, which there's a name, you gotta have something to it. Farfugium sounds like Dr. Seuss.
Well, okay, I'll correct that bit. There's a Japanese form which was called Farfugium and was in a different family than Ligularia. It is not as hardy as the Ligularias that come from, let's say, China and the mountainous part of China. But it is now considered a Ligularia. They have dropped the name Farfugium. So it's not a cross, it's just a change of name.
Okay, because this one's in Tony Avon's Plant Delights Nursery at Juniper Level Botanical Gardens. And
well, he's about 2 zones warmer there. I would be very, very skeptical about having that come through winter in Michigan or in Connecticut.
Oh, yeah.
It's too bad because it has a cooler yellow than the
It is
Ligularia.
a lemon yellow as opposed to that dark, almost orangey lemon.